ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। स्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परा वन्दे परम्परा। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञविभागयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच ज्ञेयं यत्तत् प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वामृतमश्नुते अनादिमत्परं ब्रह्म न सत्तन्नासदुच्यते सर्वतः पाणिपादं तत् सर्वतोषि सर्वतोक्षिशिरोमुखं सर्वतः श्रुतिमल्लोके सर्वमावृत्य तिष्ठति सर्वेन्द्रियगुणाभासं सर्वेन्द्रियविवर्जितम् असक्तं सर्वभृच्चैव निर्गुणं गुणभोक्तृ च बहिरन्तश्च भूतानाम् अचरं चरमेव च सूक्ष्मत्वात् तदविज्ञेयं दूरस्थं चान्तिके च तत् अविभक्तं च भूतेषु विभक्तमिव च स्थितं भूतभर्तृ च तज्ज्ञेयं ग्रसिष्णुप्रभविष्णु च ज्योतिषामपि तज्ज्योतिः तमसः परमुच्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्ञानगम्यं हृदि सर्वस्य विष्ठितम् इति क्षेत्रं तथा ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं चोक्तं समासतः मद्भक्तये तद्विज्ञाय मद्भावायोपपद्यते प्रकृतिं पुरुषं चैव विध्यनादि उभावपि विकारांश्च गुणांश्चैव विद्धि प्रकृतिसम्भवान् कार्यकरणकर्तृत्वे हेतुः प्रकृतिरुच्यते पुरुषः सुखदुःखानां भोक्तृत्वे हेतुरुच्यते पुरुषः प्रकृतिस्थो हि भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गोऽस्य सदसद्यो निजन्मसु उपद्रष्टानुमन्ता च भर्ता भोक्ता महेश्वरः परमात्मेति चाप्युक्तो देहेऽस्मिन् पुरुषः परः य एवं वेत्ति पुरुषं प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सह सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि न स भूयोऽभिजायते ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति केचिदात्मानमात्मना अन्ये साङ्ख्येन योगेन कर्मयोगेन चापरे अन्ये त्वेवमजानन्तः श्रुत्वान्येभ्य उपासते तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणाः ॐ तत्सत् I will repeat what we did yesterday before going on to the next verse. We'll do the verse 22 one more time. उपद्रष्टानुमन्ता च भर्ता भोक्ता महेश्वरः परमात्मेति चाप्युक्तो देहेऽस्मिन् पुरुषः परः Upadrashta, ultimate seer, Anumanta, permitter, Cha Bharta, sustainer, Bhokta, enjoyer, Maheshwara, limitless Lord or Creator, Paramatma cha Uktah iti, and called limitless Self, Dehe Asmin api. In this body also, Purushaha, the person, Paraha, limitless. Upadrashta, Anumanta, cha Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara, Paramatma cha uktah iti dehe asmin api purushah paraha. The ultimate seer, permitter, sustainer, enjoyer, limitless Lord, creator, and also called limitless self is the person who is limitless in this body. This Purusha is Upadrashta. A Drashta is a seer, and the prefix Upa means close. So, he is the seer who is close. Shankara gives an example. In a ritual, there is a Yajamana, the one who is having the ritual done, and who has some actions to carry out in the performance of the ritual. Then there are the Ritviks, the officiating priests who do the ritual. Besides these, there is another person sitting there who knows exactly how the ritual is to be performed, but does not do anything himself. Though he remains very close to all the activity, he does not perform any action. Similarly, the Purusha is not active himself, but in his presence, all activities of the physical body, mind, and senses take place. The prefix Upa is important here because it indicates that Purusha is never away. That is why elsewhere it is called Shrotrasya Shrotam, year of the year, etc. Its presence is there behind all the senses, organs of action, and the mind without itself performing any action. This is Atma. A second meaning for the word upadrashta is the seer who is close in the sense of innermost. The physical body is a seer in the sense that the sense of touch pervades it and it can detect heat and cold. Similarly, the eye as a sense organ is a seer. The mind is the seer of the senses, without which they cannot function. But the one who sees the mind is the real seer, because of which the mind senses, etc., all see. That is the final seer beyond whom there is no seer and who is called Upadrashta. A third meaning is the one who lights up the knower, knowledge and known. Jnata, Jnana and Jnaya. Because it is always near and at the same time the seer of everything. All meanings are equally applicable. Anumanta is the one who is the permitter, the one who approves. Whatever the mind does, Atma is satisfied. Being fullness by nature, it never lacks and is always relaxed and happy, no matter what changes the mind is undergoing. Secondly, while Atma performs no action, it is as though an accomplice to all the activities of the mind, senses, and body, because without Atma, none of them can be active. The third meaning given by Shankara for Anumanta is the one who supports all the activities of the body, mind, and senses by lighting them up. It does not stand opposed to anything, but is the great permitter, the one who does not resist at all. If the mind is restless, Atma will light up the restlessness. When the mind is pleased, it will light up the pleased mind. It is not against any condition because its nature is luminosity like the sun. Bharta is the one who sustains. The body, mind, and senses exist and are conscious due to Atma. The eyes function as instruments of sight and the ears as instruments of hearing because of Atma. It gives existence not only to this body but to the entire Prakriti. That Prakriti, which is the cause of everything, is sustained by the Purusha who is Chaitanya Atma. This consciousness is the sustainer of not only this body, mind, sense complex, but of the entire creation. Bhokta means the one who finally enjoys everything, being the very Swarupa of the Bhokta. If Ahankara is the Bhokta, Purusha is the one that sustains that Bhokta. Another meaning is the one who devours everything. Samharana Karta. Everything is dissolved in deep sleep except Purusha. And also, at the dissolution of the entire creation, everything is resolved into the Purusha. All the Nama Rupas are resolved into the Prakriti Upadhi, which is rooted in the Purusha. Therefore, Purusha is called Bhokta, the devourer, Samharana Karta. Maheshwara is the one who is limitless and is Ishvara. Mahan cha asau Ishvaraha, in whose presence alone all activities take place. Ishvara is also the creator. Thus, the Purusha with the Prakriti is not only the sustainer, Bharta, the dissolver, Samharana Karta, and the enjoyer, Bhokta, but also the creator of all this as the Nimitta Karana. In the Shruti, this Purusha is also called Paramatma, the one who is limitless and who is the self. Kaivalyopanishad says, knowing Paramatma, he becomes Paramatma. He is also the one who obtains in this physical body Dehe Asmin Purushaha and is limitless, Para, being the very basis of Prakriti. Being limitless, there is only one self, not many, in spite of the fact that there are many physical bodies. This Purusha, who is the sustainer, destroyer, and creator of the entire creation, is Paramatma. It is limitless and it is I. Thus, Purusha, who is I, the one who dwells in this body and is fullness, Purna, is also the ultimate seer, Upadrashta, the great permitter, Anumanta, and the sustainer, destroyer, and creator of all this, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwaraha. य एवं वेत्ति पुरुषं प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सह सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि न स भूयोऽभिजायते. Yah, the one who, Purusham Prakritim cha, Purusha and Prakriti, Gunaihi Saha, along with its attributes, Evam Veti, knows in this manner, Sarvatha, in all ways, Vartamanaha api, even though engaged, Saha he, Bhuyaha again, Na Abhijayate, is not born. Yaha Purusham Prakritim cha Gunaihi Saha Evam Veti Sarvatha Vartamanaha api Saha Bhuyaha na Abhijayate. The one who knows in this manner Purusha and Prakriti along with its attributes, even though engaged in all ways, he is not born again. The one who knows the Purusha and Prakriti is not born again. The one who knows this Purusha, as just described, is not reborn because he knows that Atma is not subject to time. Generally, when one knows something, there is the object of knowing, jnana karma, and the agent of knowing, jnana karta. Whenever a verb is used, as it is here, there must be an action, and if there is an action, there must be an agent. For that action, there will also necessarily be an object if the verb is transitive. The verb to know is transitive, and thus there is the one who knows and the object of such knowledge. If one knows Atma, does Atma become an object of knowledge entirely different from the knower? If so, who is the knower? How can I be the knower when the object of my knowledge is myself? This is why it is more accurate to say that with reference to Atma, there is no ignorance because knowledge of Atma has removed that ignorance. Once the ignorance has gone, Atma is revealed as Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara, Paramatma. All these words are meaningful to me as the truth of myself. Not only does he know the Purusha in this way, he also knows Prakriti, along with its gunas, properties. As we have seen, Prakriti accounts for the body mind sense complex, Karya Karana Sanghata. The one who knows Prakriti and its gunas and knows Purusha as Upadrashta, etc., even though engaged in an activity, Sarvatha Vartamanaha api is not born again. Nasa bhuyah abhijayate. If he is a king, he may continue to rule like Janaka. If he is a sadhu, he may teach or not. If he is a grahastha, he may remain with his family or walk out like Yajnavalkya. After gaining this knowledge, he may live any type of life, but the karmas done in living that life do not touch him at all. Once his body has fallen, he does not assume a birth in another form because he knows that he has no form and is free from time. Let me know if you want a repeat of this. I will repeat this. The one who knows the Purusha and Prakriti is not born again. The one who knows this Purusha as just described is not reborn because he knows that Atma is not subject to time. Generally, when one knows something, there is the object of knowing, jnana karma, and the agent of knowing, jnana karta. Whenever a verb is used as it is here, there must be an action, and if there is an action, there must be an agent. For that action, there will also necessarily be an object if the verb is transitive. The verb to know is transitive, and thus there is the one who knows and the object of such knowledge. If one knows Atma, does Atma become an object of knowledge entirely different from the knower? If so, who is the knower? How can I be the knower when the object of my knowledge is myself? This is why it is more accurate to say that with reference to Atma, there is no ignorance, because knowledge of Atma has removed that ignorance. Once the ignorance has gone, Atma is revealed as Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara, Paramatma. All these words are meaningful to me as the truth of myself. Not only does he know the Purusha in this way, he also knows Prakriti, along with his gunas, properties. As we have seen, Prakriti accounts for the body, mind, sense complex, Karya Karana Sanghata. The one who knows Prakriti and its gunas and knows Purusha as Upadrashta, etc., even though engaged in an activity, Sarvatha Vartamanaha api is not born again. Nasa bhuyah abhijayate. If he is a king, he may continue to rule like Janaka. If he is a sadhu, he may teach or not. If he is the grahastha, he may remain with his family or walk out like Yajnavalkya. After gaining this knowledge, he may live any type of life, but the karmas done in living that life do not touch him at all. Once his body has fallen, he does not assume a birth in another form because he knows that he has no form and is free from time. He is free. He is free from all karmas and therefore is not born again. While he remains in this body, his prarabdha karma takes over, and whatever is there will occur without any interference from his will. There is no adrishta phala of these actions for him because there is no agent performing the actions to whom the result can accrue. The past accumulated karmas, sanchita karma, have already gone with the negation of the karta. All that remains is the prarabdha karma, which will naturally get exhausted. The one who recognizes that the nature of the Purusha, the Atma, is actionlessness, and that the Prakriti performs action, is freed from all karma and therefore has no rebirth. An objection. The Sanchita karmas cannot be destroyed, therefore he will be born again. So this is the Purva Pakshi talking. Shankara is bringing up this objection himself. An argument can be put forth that before knowledge there was a good amount of karma gathered in this life for which he would have to take, if not many, at least one birth to exhaust. Then there is the vast amount of sanchita karma accumulated in countless prior births. These cannot be destroyed without fructifying because they have already been initiated. Once an action is performed, there is bound to be a result. Even though he has knowledge, because of prarabdha karma, he continues to live. Extending the same logic to the sanchita karma that he has already accumulated, should he not reap their results? What is the difference between his prarabdha karma, which keeps him going, and the other karmas that he did before? If the prarabdha karma can keep his body going, then sanchita karma should bring him a new body. Then again, whatever he did in this life before knowledge should be accounted for, and even what he does after the knowledge will produce some result for which a birth is required. So this is the objection. If karma is destroyed without results, why should one do karma? If karma can be destroyed without producing a result, why should anyone do any karma? If you say that sometimes it produces a result and sometimes it destroys itself, that undermines belief in the Shastra, which says that for a specific karma, there is a specific result. The karta must necessarily believe that he will enjoy the karma phala in order to have shraddha in the Shastra. Further, the entire karma kanda Shastra would become useless if karma can be destroyed without producing a result. So this and the previous one are the objections. The answer. Shastra alone is the pramana for this. Our answer to this lies only in the Shastra. The very Shastra that tells us about unseen results in the form of Punya Papa also says his karmas are destroyed in that vision of the limitless. Kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. And the Smriti says, the fire of knowledge destroys all karmas. Jnanagni bhasmasat kurute. These are from the Mundakopanishad and the Mundakopanishad. Once he comes to know that Atma is Brahman, all the karmas are destroyed and he is not reborn. Shruti also says, the one who knows Brahman is Brahman itself. Brahma Veda Brahma Eva Bhavati. This again is from the Mundakopanishad. Since Brahman is Nitya, there is no possibility of being born for the one who knows this as the truth of himself because he is not within the scope of time. And it says, the knower of Brahman gains the limitless. Brahmavit apnoti param. That is from the Taittiriya Upanishad. Being limitless, he has no form that can take a birth, nor is there any place where he is not to be born therein. The destruction of all karmas for the one who knows himself as Brahman is stated everywhere in the Shruti and also here in the Gita. When the Shastra says that Sarva Karmani, all karmas are destroyed, there is no reason to restrict the meaning to only the karmas done after knowledge. When there is no basis for restricting the meaning, Sarva Karmani means literally all karmas. So this is the answer that that Shankara is giving, which is based on the Shastra. It's going back to the Shastra. So Shraddha in the Shastra, when the Shastra says there is Adrishta Phala, the same Shastra is also saying that once this person realizes that he is Brahman, all the karmas, Sarva Karmani, they get exhausted. Karma phalas are only for the karta. Reasoning also supports this. All karma and karma phalas are for the one who has ignorance. With that as a basis, there is a karta, the ahankara, who performs various karmas that are the causes for new births for him. Only for the one who has the notion, I am the doer, do the karmas produce results in the form of a birth and the experiences gained through that. But the karmas done without that notion do not produce any results. Such karmas can produce a drishta phala, an immediate seen result, but no unseen result, a drishta phala in the form of punya or papa. They have to accrue to the karta, and when that karta is not there, there can be no adrishta phala. Sanchita karmas and prarabdha karmas are not similar. Further, he answers the argument that since prarabdha karma is not destroyed because it has already begun, the sanchita karma, which has also been initiated, would also not be destroyed. This physical body is like a released arrow. If the person becomes a jnani, then, like an arrow that has already released, continues on its trajectory even though he has no identification with it. The human body is meant for moksha. Once that is achieved, how long it travels after that depends upon its momentum, the karmas that have brought this body into being. When that is exhausted, then alone it stops. Thus, even though its purpose is accomplished and its existence is no longer really necessary, still the karma that has brought the body into being will run its course because knowledge can only destroy an error, not an empirical reality. Knowledge that the sun does not rise does not destroy the perception of it rising in the eastern sky. It does, however, destroy any wrong conclusion born of ignorance. Nor will knowledge of a mirage destroy the appearance of the mirage, because the causes for that belong to Ishvara. Knowledge need not destroy these appearances either, because it has already destroyed their reality. They are recognized as being mithya. Once the reality of the creation is destroyed, the reality of duality is destroyed. That does not mean the perception of duality is destroyed, nor does it need to be. If the duality were real, it could not be destroyed either. The so called duality is destroyed because the truth of the object known, jnaya, the instrument of knowledge, jnana, and the knower, jnata, are all revealed as one Param Brahma. All the three continue to exist, but their reality, and hence the reality of their division, has been falsified. It does not and need not destroy the jnata, jnana, and the jnaya. This body, brought into being by karma, will continue as it was before knowledge, undergoing experiences until the force of that karma is exhausted. I will read this again. Sanchita karmas and prarabdha karmas are not similar. Further, he answers the argument that since prarabdha karma is not destroyed because it is already begun, the sanchita karma which has also been initiated would also not be destroyed. So this is the objection raised. This is the question raised by the Purva Pakshi, and Shankara is now answering that. This physical body is like a released arrow. This is his answer. If the person becomes a jnani, then, like an arrow that is already released, continues on its trajectory even though it has no identification with it. The human body is meant for moksha. Once that is achieved, how long it travels after that depends upon its momentum, the karmas that have brought this body into being. When that is exhausted, then alone it stops. Even though its purpose is accomplished and its existence is no longer really necessary, still the karma that has brought the body into being will run its course, because knowledge can only destroy an error, not an empirical reality. Knowledge can only destroy an error, not an empirical reality. Knowledge that the sun does not rise does not destroy the perception of it rising in the eastern sky. It does, however, destroy any wrong conclusion born of ignorance. Nor will knowledge of a mirage destroy the appearance of the mirage, because the causes for that belong to Ishvara. Knowledge need not destroy these appearances either, because it has already destroyed their reality. They are recognized as being mithya. Once the reality of the creation is destroyed, the reality of duality is destroyed. That does not mean the perception of duality is destroyed, nor does it need to be. If the duality were real, it could not be destroyed either. The so-called duality is destroyed because the truth of the object known, jnaya, the instrument of knowledge, jnana, and the knower, jnata, are all revealed as one Param Brahma. All the three continue to exist, but their reality, and hence the reality of their division, has been falsified. It does not and need not destroy the jnata, jnana, and the jnaya. This body, brought into being by karma, will continue as it was before knowledge, undergoing experiences until the force of that karma is exhausted. So, such a beautiful example that Shankara has given is that once it is like the sun, you know that the sun is not rising, but that will not destroy the empirical reality that the sun rises in the eastern sky, that you're seeing. Your perception is that it rises in the eastern sky. That is the empirical reality. But the real truth is that the sun does not rise. It is an illusion because the earth rotates on its axis, and therefore you see that the sun is rising. Similarly, the knowledge of Brahman does not rule out the empirical reality. It only destroys the error. Whereas therefore, a person who is enlightened continues to see duality, as in he sees differences. The perception, he sees his body is different from the mud he is standing on, things like that. The empirical reality continues. He perceives that. But the truth remains. The truth of reality is what is grounded in. And therefore, this body brought into being by karma will continue as it was before knowledge, undergoing experiences until the force of that karma is exhausted. Why? Because the body is like this physical body is like a released arrow. Therefore, the prarabdha karma will continue till that arrow finishes that momentum. Till that momentum dies, it will continue. What about sanchita karma? That karma is in the name of the karta who has been dismissed by knowledge, and therefore it has no place to which it can fasten itself. They are like the actions done in a dream. Once the person wakes up, he is no longer accountable for them. Shankara uses another example to illustrate this. Suppose an arrow is not released because the archer has lost interest in shooting. What will happen? The arrow has no more targets to reach. Similarly, these various karmas, which have their basis in the karta, who is negated by knowledge, are also negated. They are rendered incapable of producing any birth, etc. Therefore, when the physical body of the wise man falls, he is not reborn. So, repeating this paragraph, what about Sanchita karma? The previous para, he talked about prarabdha karma and why, how even an enlightened man has to completely exhaust his prarabdha karma. So, he will continue living in the physical body until that prarabdha karma exhausts. But what about Sanchita karma? Because he's saying Sanchita karma is exhausted. It does not remain. Why? Because that karma is in the name of the karta who has been dismissed by knowledge, and therefore it has no place to which it can fasten itself. They are like the actions done in a dream. Once the person wakes up, he is no longer accountable for them. Shankara uses another example to illustrate this. Suppose an arrow is not released because the archer has lost interest in shooting. What will happen? The arrow has no more targets to reach. Similarly, these various karmas, which have their basis in the karta, who is negated by knowledge, are also negated. They are rendered incapable of producing any birth, etc. Therefore, when the physical body of the wise man falls, he is not reborn. Just recollecting Tattva Bodh, what we learnt in Tattva Bodh, the wise man, the one who recognizes himself as Brahman, is freed from his Sanchita karma. But all the punya and papa that he has, that are there in that karma, Sanchita karma, will go, the punya will go to the people who praise him, who respect him, who honor him. And all that, whatever papa that may have been there in the Sanchita karma, will go to those who abuse him, who humiliate him. Therefore, what Shastra tells us is you never belittle a saint. You should never belittle anyone, because you will get his, whatever little papa is there, that will accrue to you. No blaming a saint. For that matter, we should not blame anyone.
That was in Atma Bodha?
That was in Tattva Bodh.
Tattva
Tattva
Bodha.
towards
I
the
didn't
end,
attend.
when Shankaracharya talks of karma, he describes the three different karmas: prarabdha, sanchita, agami karma. So there he talks of sanchita karma gets roasted like a roasted seed. So there is no sprouting from a roasted seed. You cannot sprout life out of that roasted seed. Only thing is, I'm not sure whether it is the punya papa of that the saint does, the enlightened being does in this life, that goes to people who praise him and who blame him or humiliate him. I'm not sure whether it is the agami karma that comes that is being talked of, or the sanchita karma. That I will have to look up.
Or I think it is Prarabdha Karma.
No, prarabdha karma he has to go through whatever his prarabdha karma is. Nobody else can do that. See, my prarabdha karma I have to go through. Even if I'm enlightened, my prarabdha karma, like what happened to Ramana Maharshi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, they had to go through that pain. One of them had laryngeal cancer,
Yes.
so they had to go through the pain
But
themselves.
then they do the karma with without that bhavana, right? Like so, would that be counted like this particular birth? When they're not, even though they do the all the karmas, but that's not. He doesn't think he's doing it. It's
Correct. He does
just
not have the kartritva bhavana. That is gone.
yeah. So
And
when they don't have that bhavana, then whatever the karma earns will not be accounted, right? I mean, he's actually, that's what we are trying to say, the Krishna Arpanam or whatever that we say, it's everything is his doing. So when you do that, it whatever that karma that we are doing, it be going to that God, right? No, that's just thinking, if the saint or sage, whoever, like completely off, they're not supposed to be doing any action, right? I mean, in terms of the what is that called, karma and sannyasa yoga or something like that, right?
see, the jnani does all whatever he is doing. He continues the empirical reality. He has recognized himself as Brahman. That is, he's got that knowledge. He knows the truth that there is only Brahman, but that does not remove him from getting that perception of the empirical reality. So he'll continue to live in this world till his prarabdha karma is exhausted. But his sanchita karma, See, there are three karmas, no? Sanchita, Prarabdha, and
Right.
Agami.
Right, I
So,
agree. Yeah, so you're talking about Sanchita karma,
Sanchita
which,
karma. Sanchita karma is the bank balance of all the
right.
karmas, the results of all the karmas that were done in the past lives. That is the bank balance. From that,
Mm,
the Prarabdha karma is that part of the Sanchita karma that is taken to be born in this life. I mean, you take
mhm,
whatever karma from that Sanchita karma is taken to be born in a womb, that is your Prarabdha karma. So that is what Shankara is saying is like an arrow. The physical body is like an arrow that is already released. So that Prarabdha karma you have come into this life, and that arrow is already released. So that arrow will continue to move till the momentum wanes and it reaches its target. It has no more momentum and then it falls. So if during the process of that arrow's trajectory, this person becomes enlightened, he will not, it's not like the arrow will just suddenly drop there. It will continue its momentum because that prarabdha karma is already there. So till that exhausts, he will continue to live in the physical body, is what Shankara says. But what the Purva Pakshi is saying, if the prarabdha karma is going to be exhausted, you have to live through your prarabdha karma. So also sanchita karma. How can you say sanchita is destroyed? He will have to continue to live those whatever births he has to take, is what the Purva Pakshi said. But Shankara says it is not, because karma is associated with the karta. And once the karta itself is dissolved in the knowledge, in the wake of the knowledge that there is no karta, he is only limitless Param Brahma. So then where is the karta? Where is the question of Sanchita karma there? So Sanchita karma gets
so,
completely exhausted.
right, once you're enlightened, that is destroyed.
That is
Yeah,
destroyed.
yeah,
Then,
okay, got it.
then what about Agami?
That is what I think. Agami is, he will not go through it. The enlightened
Mm,
being will not. But people who, let me just go back to Tattva Bodh, because it's important for us to
yeah, clear
clarify.
that out.
Yeah, 1 second.
Jai Gurudev. So we are by this knowledge and doing sadhana, meditation, seva. So we are basically dissolving our sanchit karmas. Prarabdha we have to face, though it is said that if you are into spiritual
Will get the
knowledge and practice, so uh, they may be lightened, like they may be lessened, but you have to face it. So we are just cutting the sanchit karmas.
So I'm reading from the Tattva Bodh. Okay. Prarabdha karma. Sorry.
Page number, please.
Page number 123.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, let me see if I can share the Tattva Bodh. But let me just read this and then let me share one second. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I was thinking I was unmuted, but it is not. Let me see if I can actually share the Tattva Bodh. Yeah, I think we've got the right part here. So let me just share. Are you all able to see this?
Yes, yes.
Let me read this part.
104 something, not 123.
No, it was a different text. One was Swami Tejomayananda's and the other was, I think, some other text.
Okay, then. Thank you.
1 second. I'm reading from, I was able to share this, so let me just read this part. So, prarabdham karma kiniti chet. This we've done, right? So, having given birth to this body, the actions which give result in this very world. 1 second. Let me see what is the Sanchita karma, Agami karma, karmani. Okay. Karmani kati vidhani santi iti chet. Agami sanchita prarabdha bhedena trividhani santi. So if it is asked how many kinds of karmas are there, the reply is there are 3 kinds of karmas, that is agami, sanchita and prarabdha. Now, can we live without actions? Even to keep the body alive, one has to act. Man performs countless actions from birth to death. Each action produces results. The various actions are categorized into 3 depending on the results one gets from them at different periods of time. They are Agami, Sanchita and Prarabdha. Each is now further elaborated upon. Agami karma. Jnanotpatyanantaram jnani deha kritam punya papa rupam karma yadasti tadagamityabhidhiyate. After the dawn of knowledge, the results of actions, good or bad, performed by the body of the realized soul, Jnani, after the dawn of knowledge is known as Agami. What you sow today, you reap tomorrow. The results of what you do today come as Agami in the future. The results will come the next instant, after a few years, or in a future life. The results get drawn to the performer of the action. It may appear that one acts while the other enjoys or suffers the results of his own past actions. Animals too are identified with the body, but perform actions without a sense of doership. They have no choice in action, but act according to instincts, programmed by nature or God, man, or God. Man, identified with the body, acts with a sense of doership and has a choice in action. He may do, may not do, or do otherwise. Kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, anyathava kartum shakyam. A wise man, not being identified with his body, has no sense of doership, yet may appear to be performing actions through his body. As far as he is concerned, he is the pure self, free from actions. As you sow, so you reap. The results of actions depends on the intention behind the actions. Good intentions result in merit, punya, and bad in demerit, papa. That which results in sorrow, tension, regret, or guilt is papa, while that which gives joy, a feeling of inner fulfillment, and self-congratulation is called punya. That which springs from a concern and love for others and is one's own duty is punya. That which springs from selfish motives and is prohibitory is papa. What may appear as papa in one situation may be punya in another time and place, and vice versa. One must always be alert and perform only good actions if one wishes to live peacefully. But as far as a wise man is concerned, there is no good or bad actions for him, as he has no sense of doership. Sanchita karma. Sanchitam karma kim? Anantakoti janmanam bijabhutam sat yat karma jatam purvarjitam tishtati tat sanchitam jneyam. The result of actions performed in all previous births, which are in seed form to give rise to endless crores of births, is called sanchita or accumulated karma. The word sanchita comes from the verbal root chi, which means to collect. Sanchita, that which is well collected. The jiva from beginningless time has taken innumerable births in various bodies. He exhausts his stock of karmas but does not create any new karmas. But in the human birth, he not only exhausts but also creates new karmas. These actions done in the present, which are accumulated in our account, that are to be enjoyed in future births, are called sanchita karma. Each one of us already has a very good capital of karma, and we are constantly adding to it. This capital is enough to give us endless births in various bodies. If man learns the right knack of performing actions, he would be able to exhaust his karmas without creating new ones for future enjoyment. Even if he collects karmas, he should be careful to collect only such that would give him happiness in the future and lead him higher. Prarabdha karma. Prarabdham karma kimiti chet.
Excuse me. This agami is only for the knowledgeable people, Jnani only.
Yeah, I think we'll read further and we'll understand. Actually,
No. Agami, everybody, we also have Agami karma. But the one that Dr. Brahmara was saying, the Agami karma of the enlightened, that his Papa Punya is distributed. The Agami karma of the enlightened only is distributed to.
In this, when he stayed, he starts with the agami of enlightened only. Not
that is, the Agami of the enlightened is distributed to his
no, that was
people
not written in this. That was not written here.
no, I think Agami everybody goes through. See,
Yeah.
Agami is what? Also, although it is mentioned here, The results of action, good or bad, performed by the body of the realized soul after the dawn of knowledge is known as agami. But all of us have agami. The results of what you do today come as agami in the future. This happens to everybody. I know here specifically they've mentioned the enlightened being, but actually everybody goes through. It is like what you do now. Sometimes the results are immediate. Sometimes the results come later. So those that come later in future are accrued as agami. It is like you already have a bank
Okay.
balance sanchita. You are adding to it. You're like, feeding that sanchita karma with
Sanchita.
this agami karma.
Okay.
And that is how the whole cycle of life, birth and death continues.
Okay.
Innumerable, it can go on and on until you break it with the knowledge.
Break it. Yes.
Right. So
I got it. Got it.
prarabdha is what money you have already drawn from that bank account that you have. Whereas agami is feeding into that bank account. See, the results get drawn to the performer of the action. But whereas for the wise person, he does not have a sense of doership, so the karma doesn't affect him. But whereas the agami karma, whatever punya papa he has done, that will go to people who are, we'll come to that later. That is there in the end, towards the end. So prarabdha karma, having given birth to this body, the actions which give result in this very world in the form of happiness or misery, and which can be destroyed only by enjoying or suffering them, is called prarabdha karma. Pra plus arabdha, prarabdha, that which has started well, is prarabdha. From the total capital of karma, sanchita, those actions which have fructified to give us the present birth and the experiences in it are prarabdha karma. Prarabdha decides the time and place of our birth, the environment in which we live, our lifespan, etc. It is commonly called fate, destiny, or luck. One should not understand prarabdha with a negative connotation as maybe God decided my fate. Now I am helpless. I will have to go through it. There is no use in doing anything. Everything is decided. We can't change anything. So this is not what we should look at prarabdha as. In fact, by understanding that what I get now is because of what I have done in the past, I stop blaming one and all for it, and take full responsibility for my life and experiences. So how is prarabdha useful to us? Is not to, uh, it will help us stop blaming others and situations, and will take full responsibility for our life and experiences. Understanding that I deserve what I get, I strive to deserve better. I may have no choice in what I get, but I do have a choice in the attitude with which I receive it and in what I do with what I get. Pujya Swami Chinmayananda ji said, what I get is his gift to me. What I do with what I get is my gift to him. How beautiful.
Beautiful. Really, really.
What I get is his gift to me. What I do with what I get is my gift to him. A growing fruit reaches its fully maturity and then disintegrates. A growing fruit reaches its full maturity and then disintegrates. An arrow that has been shot from the bow reaches its target to exhaust its momentum. It cannot be withdrawn halfway. Similarly, those actions which have started fructifying can be exhausted only by giving their results. One has to go through the results of one's actions, whether one likes it or not. These results come to us as conducive or unconducive situations. A wise man too has taken birth in his body due to prarabdha. Even after attaining knowledge, the prarabdha of the body continues. We therefore see that even a wise man can get cancer or a heart attack. As far as he is concerned, he remains the non doer and non enjoyer. But from the standpoint of the ignorant, he too is seen to undergo various conducive and non conducive situations. The body of the ignorant, as well as that of the wise man, finally get destroyed. Sanchita karma brahmaivahamiti nishchayatmaka jnanena nashyati. Sanchita karma is destroyed by the firm knowledge I am Brahman alone. A man commits many crimes and is wanted by the law for them. There are many criminal cases pending against him in the courts, but when he dies, the entire file is closed. The one who committed those crimes is no more available to be punished. Similarly, the jiva is the finite entity which identifies with the body, owns all its actions, and collects them to be enjoyed in the present and future births. This feeling of finitude is born from the ignorance of one's true nature. On gaining the knowledge, I am the infinite consciousness, the false notion that I am the finite, changing, suffering entity is destroyed. There remains no individuality that owns actions or identifies with the body to enjoy or suffer them. Therefore, the entire capital of actions becomes null and void. It cannot give results. It is compared to roasted seeds. Once roasted, they can no longer sprout. The gross body of the ignorant and that of the wise at death disintegrate to merge with the five gross elements here itself. The subtle body of the ignorant man, propelled by the causal body or the force of previous actions, leaves the gross body to take up a new body according to the results of actions that have been fructified. The subtle body of the wise man merges with its five subtle constituents, as there is no propelling force to give it direction or hold it together. The causal body, the cause of the gross and subtle bodies of the wise man, is destroyed by the knowledge of the self. There is no more birth for him. Space appears conditioned by a pot. Once the pot breaks, the pot space merges with the total space. There is no actual merging. Space was always one and all pervading, even when the pot existed. आगामि कर्म अपि ज्ञानेन नश्यति किंच आगामि कर्मणां नलिनीदलगत जलवत् ज्ञानिनां संबंधो नास्ति. The agami karma is also destroyed by knowledge, and the wise man is not affected by it, as a lotus leaf is not affected by the water on it. Padma patram ivambhasa. The sanchita karma is also destroyed by knowledge, and the wise man takes no more birth. The prarabdha karma too does not affect him, as he has no identification with the body. But what about the actions done in the present? Would he not have to enjoy or suffer their results here or hereafter? Since the very notion of doership dies, there remains none to enjoy or suffer the results of every action done in the present. Remaining in the midst of actions, he is still totally untouched by them, like the lotus leaf in water. The lotus leaf is born in water, remains in water, and dies there. Yet it never gets wet. Once, Sri Buddha was abused as he was asking for alms. The disciple got angry and said, "Shall I give him a piece of my mind?" Sri Buddha said, "If you have taken anything, you have to return it. Since I have not taken anything, I do not feel the need to give anything back too."
So good.
But actions must have results. If they do not go to the wise man, who gets them? It is explained thus. Kincha e jnaninam stuvanti bhajanti archayanti tan prati jnanikritam agami punyam gacchati. E jnaninam nindanti tvishanti dukkha pradhanam kurvanti tan prati jnanikritam sarvamagami kriyamanam yad vachyam karma papatmakam tad gacchati. Suhridaha punyakritam Suhridaha punyakrityam Dihridaha papakrityam dhrinnanti. Further, to those who praise, serve, and worship the wise man, go the results of the actions done by the wise man. To those who criticize, hate, or cause pain to the wise man, go the results of all unpraiseworthy and sinful actions done by the wise man. Friends take the meritorious results and enemies the demeritorious results. Every action has two sides. If its good effects by far override the bad, we call it a good action. The doctor operates on the patient and causes him pain and the relations tension, yet it is a good action. When the bad effects dominate, it is a bad action. The wise man's actions always spring from good intentions, but they may have bad effects also. Since the wise man is not the enjoyer or sufferer of the good or bad results, whom do they go to? It is said that the good results go to those who love him and the bad to those who hate him. The wise man himself has no likes and dislikes, friends and enemies. He sees all as himself. Therefore, he does not will that the results go to any particular person. The actions done by him are the will of the Lord or the demand of the totality. The results are therefore distributed according to his will or the will of the totality. The mind of one who loves and worships the wise man is purified and therefore attracts the results of good actions. The mind of one who criticizes and hates is negative and therefore attracts the results of bad actions. One who has value for knowledge and ideals, whose mind is pure and subtle, recognizes the greatness of the wise man. They revere and serve him not for getting merits, but for the supreme knowledge, or out of gratitude for having received it, or out of gratitude for the transformation in their lives. Some look at the wise man from the standpoint of their ignorance and superimpose their own prejudices on him. Some go to him with expectations, and if they are not fulfilled, criticize them. Some with evil minds hate anyone who is good and even try to harm them. The wise man, however, is equal towards both, the one who loves him and the one who hates him. If one is not able to see greatness in the wise man and is not able to worship him, one must at least stay away from him and not criticize him or create dislike and hate for him, or else one only brings about one's own downfall through that. The examples of Ravana, Kamsa, etc. are well known in Hindu mythology. Yeah, so I just wanted to bring our attention back to this Agami, Sanchita, and Prarabdha Karma. So the result, this is the answer to your question, Sureshji, is what happens to the
Yeah, I got it.
Agami of the enlightened master. So whatever punya karma is done, it goes to the people who praise him, who worship him, who revere him.
Such a nice thing. Really,
Yeah.
very, very good. So we get the good vibes, the energy from the saints, the Guruji or anything, whenever we go there. With gratitude.
That is why one of those things mentioned in Amanitva Dambitva is Acharyopasanam.
No, yes.
Or we are going to a teacher and doing his seva, his worship, his respecting him, honoring him.
So we get the punya of Guruji's, what he is doing. So good. Wonderful. Thank you, Brahmraji. Thanks. Let us read the conclusion. Just one, that one.
Yeah, I will read the conclusion. One second. Minute, huh? In conclusion, the result of self-knowledge is summarized by quotes from the Shruti and Smriti. One second, my battery is getting down. I just need to charge it. तथा चात्मवित् संसारं तीत्वा ब्रह्मानन्दमिहैव प्राप्नोति तरति शोकमात्मवित् इति श्रुतेः तनुं त्यजतु वा काश्यां श्वपचस्य गृहेऽथवा ज्ञानसम्प्राप्तिसमये मुक्तोऽसौ विगताशयः इति स्मृतेश्च. Thus, the knower of the self, having crossed samsara, attains supreme bliss here itself. The Shruti affirms, the knower of the self goes beyond all sorrow. Let the wise man cast off his body in Kashi or in the house of a dog-eater. It is immaterial because at the time of gaining knowledge itself, he is liberated, being freed from all the results of his actions. So assert the Smritis too. Samsarati iti samsaraha. Samsarati iti samsara. That which is forever changing is samsara. That which has only samsara essence is samsara. The entire realm of time, space, and objects is samsara. Limitations cause sorrow. The knower of the self goes beyond the limitations of time, space, and objects, and therefore attains infinity, which is supreme bliss. The knower of an object does not become the object. The one who knows a tree does not become a tree, but the knower of the self, truth, becomes the truth itself. Brahmavit brahmaiva bhavati. In reality, there is no becoming. He only comes to realize that he was always of the nature of supreme bliss, even while he was ignorant of it. In the Chandogya Upanishad, sage Narada approaches the Sanat Kumaras and seeks that knowledge by which one can cross over all sorrow. When asked to list what he already knew, he enumerates all that he has mastered, including all the sciences, arts, social sciences, politics, etc. The Guru then teaches him self-knowledge, concluding that only the knower of the self crosses over grief. Tarati shokam atmavit. We too, having studied many subjects, have not got over sorrow, tension, and agitations. Ignorant of the self, we seek various worldly ways of getting rid of sorrow, and so do not succeed. We are afraid of death and pray for a good death. Some wish to die in sleep, others when their body is healthy, and they are afraid of death and pray for a good death. Some wish to die in sleep, others when their body is healthy and they are engaged in activity, and yet others hope to give up the body remembering the Lord. Some believe in certain days, times, and places as auspicious and think that one who dies then will attain a good rebirth hereafter or get liberated. Yet others believe that the place from where the subtle body leaves the gross body would decide the course of the future of the jiva. If the subtle body leaves through the top of the head, then one attains liberation. Bhishma Pitamaha waited for the auspicious Uttarayana before leaving his body. It is said that one who dies in Kashi gets liberated. Kashi is on the banks of the holy river Ganga, where Lord Vishwanatha, Shiva, resides. Just before a person dies, the Lord himself is believed to give him the Taraka mantra, chanting which the person leaves his body and gets liberated. One with faith would naturally live a pious life and spend his days in Kashi in the remembrance of the Lord, and therefore at his death get liberated. One's mind gets affected by the environment in which one lives. As far as the wise man is concerned, he is already liberated at the time of death. Therefore, it is immaterial under what circumstances or conditions of the body, the time or the place he leaves the mortal body. He may do so even in a dog eater's house. A dog is the best friend of man. He serves his master with faith. One who eats a dog is therefore said to be the worst of men. Or he may pass away while in coma or while in meditation. He was liberated while living, Jivan Mukta. Now he is said to be liberated without body, Videha Mukta. This distinction is purely from the standpoint of the ignorant man whose attention is on his body. The text thus ends with Iti Tattva Bodha Prakaranam Samaptam. Thus ends the Prakarana called Tattva Bodha. Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya has written a wide range of literature which appeals to people of various ages, education, and levels of evolution. He has written commentaries on the Prasthanatrayi, the Brahma Sutra, the Gita, and the Upanishads, various Prakarana Granthas, introductory texts, stotrams, hymns in praise of Lord, etc. In Tattva Bodha, he starts with the qualifications of the student, continues with the discussion of the Jiva, individual, Jagat, world, and Ishvara, the creator, and establishes their essential identity. He concludes with the description of the realized soul. The entire subject matter of Vedanta is covered in this simple text. Even though it is a Prakarana Grantha meant for the beginner, if a sincere seeker reflects and meditates on its words, he would get established in his own self. It also helps the study of other Vedantic texts. May all be benefited by it. Jai Gurudev. I think we'll stop here today. If anyone wants to share or add anything.
I think you just read about what kinds of karma, that three kind. That's agami karma, and sanchita karma, and prarabdha karma. So the agami karma is that actions that is happening in this birth that get fit into the sanchita karma. I mean, for Jnani, of course, that that punya papa goes to people who um, praise them, and the punya goes to who praise them. The papa goes to who hates them or dislike them. And so that sanchita karma is the one get dissolved or destroyed at the uh, once someone awakens to the knowledge, uh, or realize the knowledge self, attains the knowledge, they that sanchita karma is been destroyed. So that what do you call that? The subtle body and
Causal
which
body.
yeah, the causal body propels the subtle body. Um, that that is not happening with the jnani. But then that's one what we did, right?
Yeah. The causal body of, see, the Sanchita karma requires a karta to continue.
Right.
Where, with respect to a wise man, the kartritva is gone, completely dissolved. So there is no karta, there is no taker of the Sanchita karma. So
Right.
that remains there, hanging up there like a roasted seed.
Mm-hmm.
So his Sanchita karma does not go to anyone, it just gets burnt up. It's just like how
Right.
lamp burnt and sublimated. That Sanchita karma gets dissolved. Now, the Agami karma goes to whoever praises him, whoever hates him. That in this present life, whatever he does, of course, there is a result. So, therefore, the Smriti Shastra says that the results of that Agami karma, Punya goes to people who revere and honor him, and Papa goes to those who dishonor him and who dislike him or hate him. With respect to um, the causal body, subtle body, causal body, for those who are still, for the ignorant man, his subtle body leaves the physical body, the gross body, and propelled by the causal body, takes on another womb, taking another bit of prarabdha karma from that sanchita karma, takes a chunk of that sanchita, gets into prarabdha, and therefore gets another womb. Whereas for a knowledge, enlightened being, his subtle and causal bodies, they merge with the five great elements, because he becomes, it's not like he becomes, he realizes the truth that he always is that limitless Brahman.
Brahman, yeah, that's the one that was the
Yeah,
example of the pot was given, right?
the pot and the
When the
space.
pot, right, the pot breaks, the space, it's already there, and
There,
it just matches with that
it's
other
only conditioned by that pot. So for the
pot.
jnani, the
Mm,
ajnani is still conditioned by, he thinks I'm the pot, I'm the pot. So he continues. Countless
mm,
pots the potter keeps making, and he continues. Whereas the for the jnani, he realizes that he is that space. The jiva thinks he's the space in the, yeah,
right. When he realized I'm Brahman, so that when he leaves the body, he merges with that Brahman or one
yeah.
consciousness. So, yeah, it's very nice. Actually, the one you read, the conclusion part, even um, the nature of the Brahman, how when you realize like we are contained in this body, we realize that we are not contained in this body, then the whole universe, like infinite, uh, you can't like imagine how much you are merging with. If we kind of take out the pot example, right, like if you're not in that space, then it becomes really nice, like the way you mentioned it, like infinite. I not getting the words, but it's really nice.
Jai Gurudev, can you how will we differentiate the prarabdha karma? The prarabdha are taken from sanchita, you said. So, what type of karmas will constitute the prarabdha karma?
It's a mixture. It's a mixture of the papa punyas that we have done that are accrued into the sanchita karma. So it's a bag, it's a mix. That is why, see, there are people who do good deeds in this life, they seem to be suffering. And people question. See, if you remember what I read, what was read in Tattva Bodh, The prarabdha karma determines which womb you're born in, where you are born, what are the people you're associated with, and what experiences you go through in life. So those are all determined. Why someone is born in Ethiopia and has to go through starvation, whereas others are born with a golden spoon, that is because of their
So,
prarabdha.
yeah, but what type of karmas is not described? No, like maybe some heinous actions would be there, which would be causing prarabdha karma, because that you have to suffer, right? What I what I could
It could
figure
be a
out, because
mixture,
you
Dr.
cannot
Savita.
I
differentiate the
don't think
karma.
so.
It's a
I
mixture of
don't think.
punya papa, no? It is not
Yeah,
only
go ahead.
papa karma. Sanchita karma is a mixture of both punya and papa karmas.
Right.
It is not only punya or only papa. So
So
see,
prarabdha
And
are all prarabdha are also good and bad, no?
right, no, it is also good and bad.
Yeah.
So therefore, there are
But
times when you are happy, when you are conducive situations are there, and then inconducive situations are there. Both are determined by your prarabdha karma. That's why it's called fate, destiny, luck, isn't it? So what
So if
what
it is,
saying, what the
see,
Shastra tells us is you understand prarabdha karma, and therefore stop blaming anybody, including your planets, including people. Take full responsibility and ensure that in this life you do actions that are meritorious actions.
dharmic.
Again, yeah, again, not in order to get a good life later, but with the your action should be dharmic.
Hmm.
Your action should deserve meritorious act. It should deserve merit. So that
And
again
with
and this
karma yoga.
in this
And with
life
karma yoga. Hmm.
and do karma. That is why kartum shakyam, akartum
Hmm.
shakyam, anyatha va kart. So that is the choice we have given. We've been given as human beings. Animals don't have this choice. Therefore, having known that the prarabdhas we're going through, there may be conducive situations, there may be like a lotus, like how Mirabai, look at her prarabdha. She was born into a royal family, wedded to a husband who was anti devotion. He was against her being devoted to Krishna. That was a prarabdha. So similarly,
And also the prarabdha depends upon the intention of the person.
the
Uh,
results of any action depend upon the intention.
intention of the person.
Yeah,
So
not
he get
prarabdha.
the correct prarabdha. See, if I have intent to be a dharmic, and I am while during the death time, I wish to be a dharmic man. I will get those prarabdha and reborn. Then I again continue with that dharmic. Then I can wash away the all with jnana, and all everything can be happen.
Yeah. You will not change your prarabdha, you will change your agami.
Agami.
Yeah. By what you do now.
No, that would be the prarabdha for the next Janma. That is what I'm talking.
May not be. Yeah. We don't know how many countless
No,
lives.
the intention of
Correct.
this life,
Correct.
that is agami, that will change the prarabdha of the next life.
Mm. That anyway, Krishna has said, once you are on this
Yes.
path,
Yes.
there is no way you will be destroyed. You will always
Destroyed, yes.
Yeah, you'll be born into the families of people who are likewise, who are onto this path.
So everything depends upon this life, what we do.
Ultimately, in this life, we should aim for moksha.
Moksha.
That is the highest. No,
Yes.
why do you want to work towards
Yeah,
having
yeah.
another life, better life? Whatever
No,
happens,
I'm
happens.
telling the process.
Right, I understand. I understand with what intent you are saying. So nice discussion. So shall we close
Wonderful.
up?
Thank you, Brahmraji. See, this is what the true Manana is, When we get doubt, we went to the Tattva Bodha and read it again. So this is what is Manana. Good. Manana, what good Manana doing? Thanks.
So today we did 2 verses. We went back to Upadrashtanumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwarah paramatmeti chapyukto dehasmin purushah parah. This is the ultimate seer, permitter, sustainer, enjoyer, limitless Lord, creator, and also called limitless self, is the person who's limitless in this body. That is the Purusha. And then, ya evam vetti purusham prakritim cha gunaihi saha sarvatha vartamanopi nasabhuyo bhi jayate. So the person, the one who knows in this manner Purusha and Prakriti, along with its attributes, even though engaged in all ways, he is not born again. He attains immortality. So this is what we saw today. And then there were some Purva Pakshi's objections that Shankara raised regarding Sanchita Karma and Prarabdha Karma, and how though the enlightened being lives, he knows the reality. Empirical reality continues for him. His perception of the empirical reality, that is the perception of the Mithya Jagat, he is still able to see uh, a wooden stick and a plate of food. He knows that difference. That difference is there. He is able to see that, perceive that, but he is above all of that. And we'll see the verse 24 tomorrow. Yeah. Jai Gurudev. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.